Namo Guru Me Namo Buddhaya Namo Dharmaya Namo Sanghaya Namo Guru Me Namo Buddhaya Namo Dharmaya Namo Sanghaya Namo Guru Me Namo Buddhaya Namo Dharmaya Namo Ayo Kande Lai Nye Guen Nye Noi Gane Rai Gai Shon Zang Hoi Li Shon Zhen Zhe Che Ye Jia Wo Hui Ye Lo Zang Cha Se Nai Jie Ba Ni Li Xie Zo Zo Li Ye Nai Ga Se Li Be De De Che Zhe Lai Ma Ye Be Zo Ga Jie Ta Lo De Be Se Nai Xin Zhu De Ma Ye Jie Ge Ya Zhu Zo Zo Xie Jie Zhe Ge Ya Be Lo Zhe Ge Zai Na Be Ge Yu Li Xie Zo Tai Be Be Ye Lai Me Ze Be Gu Toi De De Be Te De Lai Zha Ye Wo Che Ye Na Zo Me Do Da Te Xin Do Be Na Ze De Jia Zo Wo Sha Ye De Che De Jia Zo Se Na Jian Zhu Qie Lai Che Ba Me Kai Jian Do Me Te Ne Zai Ba Ye Liu Ma Ye Ye Me Ge Jie Jie Ba Qie Ma Lai Do Ba So Ye Me Nye Ne Ye Ba Ta Be So So Sha Nye Me De De Ma De Ro La Ze She Ye Ba Me Ya Ro De Ye Je Go Mo Ye ye lo je je ta ja za ba ba me ye ra ngo che ze ya la ma da ba ye na ma Shwe wa la Kye ze de ne Che da la zan be De je ze ma la Sa je je Cha wa aban do zo Nama na ye yang le je ma ye so yo go la cha no me nga ta me na ngo so go ra da se de ma no me no de ma ra jo ta zo je ni sa be ge wa de yang da do wa ya la ga be da Che ma ra je ze lo za da ma ye de me ni mo re do sa je jo me ze be de je re Che me ye be wa mo ja be ya te bo ma le yo ze sa be da ha je ke be so ye zo ga ma lo za da me sha la zo wa me ze be te ra je re ze te me ye be wa mo ja me te bo ma le jo ze sa be da ga je ke le so ye zo ga ma lo za da be sha so wa de me ze be de je re te me ye me wa mo ja be ya te bo ma le jo ze sa be da ha je ke me so ye zo ga ma lo za da me so wa de pa de za ve la Yeah. We must strive to accomplish complete enlightenment for the benefit of all other sentient beings, and for that reason we should all cultivate the altruistic motivation or bodhicitta motivation, seeking complete enlightenment for the sake of others. With that kind of at least contrived bodhicitta aspiration and motivation, we should participate in this discourse on Bodhisattva's way of life. Those of you who have the same English translation of Bodhisattva Mahasattva Shantideva's Bodhisattva Char Avatar, a guide to Bodhisattva's way of life, translated by Stephen Batchelors, published by the Tibetan Library in India, we are on page 3. And as I laid out the 3 main outlines at the beginning, the first one is what called preliminary to the actual explanation of Bodhisattva's way of life, which is the actual body presentation and then conclusion. And so in the preliminaries, we already talked about what is called expression of worship or salutation to Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. And we also talked about translator's salutation for translating this text from Sanskrit into Tibetan language. And then we talked about the pledge of composition, Sombat Thamchaba, having prostrated to the Sugatas and so forth. What I'm going to do is I'm going to explain how to engage in the vows of bodhisattvas in accordance with Buddha's scriptures. All of those things we already talked about. Now related to that, the next point is what we call the expression of humility or humbleness, in Tibetan called Kengkyungwa. And so let me read the text, which is labeled as stanza number 2. There is nothing here that has not been explained before, and I have no skill in the art of rhetoric. Therefore, lacking any intention to benefit others, I write this in order to acquaint it to my mind, and unquote. So this stanza highlights what we call the expression of humility on the part of Bodhisattva Mahasattva Shantideva. So as Geshe explained that in this text what he has highlighted is this, that if you are looking for kind of a new kind of information, subject matter, content, there's nothing new here. I have nothing new to say in terms of subject matter. And if you are looking for the art of rhetorics, all the skills of composition, I have none. So there's nothing you will find it here. Okay. So then what I have done here is I composed this text to familiarize my mind, or to develop more intimacy with my own mind with Bodhisattva's way of life and deeds. In the process of familiarizing my own mind with Bodhisattva's way of life, if there are others who are equal in fortune to me, who are kind of like my peers, now they might find some benefits out of this composition. So this is called expression of humbleness or humility. Yes.
Minglet Shedanji the Gondre Gas or Shada Gondre Gas at the Gozo Sugita Mandil Saji of Del Teosata, and they cause Jeja Gova Devash Nigush Shishi was said Devanga Govane Govane Tenjul Law Gozo Shuki Yodinyane Shungla made the Shula music with Yambo. But Yambo Tishi Imbarasa, Temba in Temba in Temba Tenje, Yishebe, Gone, Goso Yabatane, Jubatan. Oh no, Tonji to the Javis, when Juban so moved. Terracotta, the Sobat of Jesse design, Gozo Yavati design, on board Nobo Duzon. Did you say? Karsat, Gozo Shigiti, the Telatane, because Tenju, Gozo Shigawashidi, Tenju, Jube, any hard doors. The Ombotu, that Gozo Yugas and Pigay. Egyptian, you are what is so much time you go to the terrace.
The pleasure of composition and the expression of humility, they highlight what we call four what called salient features of authoring a text. In Tibetan called Kyoso Chushi. And these four are regarded as essential for the work to be meaningful and purposeful. And the 4 points are that its content or the subject matter has to be meaningful, okay, Jeja, and that it must serve a meaningful purpose, Goba, and that meaningful purpose has to lead to what we call the innermost meaningfulness, or the what I might consider as ultimate purpose. So there is a general purpose, and then there is the ultimate purpose. Okay? And then there has to be delva, coherence, among these points. Right? The subject matter has to be correlated to the purpose, to the ultimate purpose, and all of them must be in a coherent form. Okay? And so when those with sharp faculties, super duper intelligent ones, when they read this kind of stanza and find out about these 4 features, they feel very inspired. They said, this is what I need to really study and engage in the practice. And those who are relatively speaking of low faculty, so they might not pick it up quite easily like that, but they kind of feel like, okay, because this is composed by a great author and it must have all those 4 points. So they will trust it. They trust these 4 features of a text so that they will also be inspired to engage in the study and practice of a Bodhisattva's way of life.
我的当然就是我早晚都开的个那开的的，早晚的台的，好像我是没是把这些，就是给我打有没，天气很多上边打了，上班打了没，让伊了空就是眼的怎么，给我空就打个特别就得打，给这这些配角了，打的给我娘把现在讲，现在的打同样就是我这把的感觉他，这个公正好个兄弟的话。
Awesome. So if those who are following the actual text of Shantideva's in the English translations, on page 3, stanza number 2 and 3, those lines deal with what we call the expression of humility and the 4 features of writing this text, which has a meaningful subject matter, which has a purpose, and which can also lead to fulfilling the ultimate purpose. And there is a coherence among these points. And so let me kind of read the lines once again. There's nothing here that has not been explained before, and I have no skill in the art of rhetoric. Therefore, lacking any intention to benefit others, I write this in order to acquaint it to my own mind. For due to acquaintance with what is wholesome, the force of my faith may for a short while increase because of these words. If, however, these words are seen by others, equal in fortune to myself, it may be meaningful for them. Yes.
我的他知道我说是个啥吃，他这边的吃的那个吃羊大不着，吃现在毛了不？因为考虑我说是个人有吃过是吧？边那他吃过就是那吃过呀，这就这些。이 자꾸는 자동이야 되게 꼼수야 되게 페이지 될때 수고 되고 요서 니고 좀 이제서 책 돈도이나 책 돈 가지 여자 유게 세는 고소시 자시 디시고 와서 될 디시고 보자 제대로 가서 데세도 제를 가자는 예배 고소시 세야 돼. 다 가자면 세야 돼. 근데 대주 계셔면 세 가서 계셔 돈도 시시지 시고 와. 가자는 그 요구제 예배 고소시 대주 류를 예배 고소시 남스 예와레스 당고네 连这他们拉是这种的是连这是的大看见这有些用的这个那个国外用的这个呢工作人了特别的工作需要主要有了我就是我的我连这的干啥本来是本把些被我到拉萨本把的就这的特别同到把国外在这本把的是老着一呢 텔 기부 통주바니 고다 슈퍼바 최소좀 가지고 되는 거바레스 대단 가진 저와는 저 와서 저한테 텔 때는 법바세야 맹들 법바 거는 법에 샤와시 텔 애니과도 최소좀 시고 나 가지 줘야지 고서 쉬기도 내가 가자는 시 고서 쉬기 되레스 다 이바 된주 류리에서야지 고서 되주고 무이 되다 电视剧了也被国术学的那时候，国术学学家，电视剧了也被国术学家，我的东电特殊社会，也不叫国不是他，电视剧国术学的。 대주들 도숨시에 들라대는 또바줄로 또바제는 곰남녀스 타도 양대더 니고스도 시작으로 와. 어디 키보즈 찍자도 고바 가서 조자시에 다 고제가 때도를 디저 고바 유스 된 거로 와. 어디다 Tenju la goba diyo temba ten entel tenju la jog kharsa tenju goso shi yuba shewa tel tenju juba si wo tu shana o tere da ine gonde nga goso shi sa da.
So Geshe is still explaining what is called Phuntsok Gyeltsen, purpose and so forth, the four features of any meaningful statement we make and all author treatise or the text. Like in general, if we make any kind of meaningful statement, that statement might consist of those features, as we said. Let's say if we say, let's make a very refreshing tea. Yeah, that statement. Yeah. Now we know, I mean, the content is to make tea. So, right, making tea, that's what it is all about. And the purpose of that is, it could be very refreshing. So we feel relaxed, right? That's purpose. And maybe it's not only relaxing thing, but it's also good for your health, right? Depending upon what kind of tea you're drinking. Okay, so let's make it, green jasmine tea. Okay, so it's good for your health. So that is even more. That purpose is more than refreshment, isn't it? So it is health benefit thing, and then all of those things are related, right? Making tea and drinking tea is refreshing, and that refreshing is also related to the health, benefit, and all of those things are related to each other. So we can talk about those four things, even in the case of a very ordinary. Meaningful statement. Or the example given in the text is, let's say, when we talk about, say, a vase, bumba. Yeah. So that expression, it represents a thing or an object, isn't it? So there is content to that expression, and so once you understand, vase means that, the monks use it for ablution, for the empowerment ritual, things like that. Yeah. So that understanding is serving the purpose of that statement, a vase, isn't it? And then maybe the more ultimate kind of purpose is that that it is very meaningful. In the ritual, it is an essential what to implement, without which you cannot do vase accomplishment, you cannot do initiation, right? So all of those things are connected to each other. That is a coherent spot. Okay. Now when we relate these 4 points of the features to a text, such as this kind of Bodhisattva's Way of Life text. Okay? The subject matter, is about what we call the Bodhisattva's Way of Life. So based upon this text, when we understand Bodhisattva's Way of Life, that understanding is serving a purpose, isn't it? So not only do we understand what is explained or presented in this text, but if we cultivate that in our mind, we develop paths and grounds that will lead us to enlightenment. So that is ultimate purpose, fulfilling, isn't it? But all of these things are connected to each other. Achieving enlightenment, the ultimate purpose is dependent upon really understanding the explanation in this text, which is a general purpose. And that understanding is really based upon the subject matter of this text, isn't it? So all of these things are, connected to each other. That interconnectedness, coherence is there. And so those are the 4 features we call purpose, etc., features of text such as this.
Tanadina zo of the Karasena and the Tenzu Luigi goes to Chicago race. The Chirka you digital catcher, the Gonde Gas, it did some Tamja, you will tea Karsate, some Tamja go but Karsate, some guess I did to the Tenzu, Juba, Jewel, Love Yamsula to get Tigo Yoma Russia, don't you go to the Karasena in a day. Tenzu Luigi goes to Chicago race. What is of that? Sumba Karsa, did she just do in La Tia? Did she say ye lam ye say, Doba Simji Joa, Chilu, Tobje, Debut, but the Joja in that, because you did that. There you look Curtis and the Gozushi Curtisena. Did he say yes because Sanjay pick a Karsa? 고모토야 게니 대기 게니 그래서 저주세면 쥐어바디 디레스다 쥐어바시는 조자시 다 대녀란디 에네 가서 대줄 델라데네 디 또바게디 고바시다 들들네 타도 이게 상지 고모토바디 가서 니고셰 다 가만가만면 심하시면 좀 어디 저와시니 조디 디인스 대기 세계람 dom세디 거제 심지 조아시로 주부지와 되게 조자셰 다 조자셰에는 다다디 존중을 때네 존중 더존 시월 때네 근데 되게 율리케바들 그바셰 다데 타도는 주부터 어디 니고샤가로
So we can talk about purpose and so forth. The four features in Tibetan called Kö, Sok, Chö, Shi. Kö, purpose, Sok, etc. and four, Chö, Shi. We could talk about that with ordinary meaningful statement such as let's make a green jasmine refreshing tea, health beneficial one. Okay, that's that. Or we can talk about those features with regard to the pledge of composition of the author. But the four features relating to the actual body of the text, right, that is the, what matters most. And as Geshe explained, that the subject matter of this text is explaining Bodhisattva's deeds or the actions, way of life, right? That is the content, that is the subject matter of this text. And based upon this text, when we understand Bodhisattva's way of life, Bodhisattva's actions and beneficial deeds, that understanding is part of the purpose, fulfilling a purpose. Now, not only do we understand that purpose, right, but now we actually cultivate the Bodhisattva's way of life, where we engage in the Bodhisattva actions and we reach a complete enlightened state, we become Buddhas. That is fulfilling the ultimate purpose, the innermost purpose of this. And all of these things are related to each other, as I said. Attaining enlightenment is really contingent upon understanding Bodhisattva's way of life. Understanding Bodhisattva's way of life is contingent upon this work, the subject matter of this work, right? So all of those things are interconnected, coherent with each other, and so those 4 points are more important, purpose, etc. 4 features of this text that we should focus on.
What they karsa, because Geshe did what they are teaching karsa, Kung shot us. That did go. Did you? That the Juju like Chosun Sheval Dene in that Karsa Jubacheva, the Jubacheva said, the Tribacheva said, Ye Gagachi in the Tambo, T. Julia, any Juzati, Shanju said the Hinyam the Kung Shiva, Shiru, that Yamlensia of Sigmara, the Kung Shiva, in Juju then to Kung Shiva did Guevashe. Tati ya nyamsle kondu shiva tsamdi shava mayiba nyamslani en so yuli keni ti ya sanje gomo to nigu rawa o ti ta gama shivanji maden jawashin til eni karsa jawashani tenju luis gozo shogi te da dordena juju tene ene pige terwa and da nyamje semda jeba shinula so de ge ya tawa de ene gomashe ti nyamslani any ya tarchim but jamsla di kasa gubashe di tarchi but any shauju semni da dige zo tarchi zo sanji go to go di nigo sha da di gamang ma semashim duya ya marwa this is the any gozo shigi di sha is.
So if I explain a little bit more the 4 features relating to the actual body of this text, what this Shantideva's text, in terms of subject matter or the content it deals with, if you ask, what are the benefits of bodhicitta? Okay, what is bodhicitta? Altruistic mode of enlightenment. How can we cultivate bodhicitta or the altruistic mode of enlightenment? How can we equalize self with others, exchange self with others? Dakshin Yamche. Okay, and how to engage in the what are the 6 perfections of bodhisattvas and how to engage in them. So these are the subject matter, content of this text, which is a meaningful subject matter, as you can see. So through studying this text, as we develop understanding of what are the benefits of bodhicitta, what is bodhicitta, and equalizing and exchanging self with others, the 6 perfections, that understanding, is a purpose, arising out of this work, isn't it? Now, not only we do understand the subject matter, now we actually kind of cultivate bodhicitta within our own mind. We actually try to engage in the practices of 6 perfections. As a result of doing that, finally we ourselves can become a bodhisattva, we ourselves can become a Buddha, right? So becoming a Buddha, achieving complete enlightenment is the innermost essence, the purpose, the ultimate purpose fulfilled, isn't it? So to be able to achieve complete enlightened state, which is the ultimate goal of the purpose of this text, it is contingent upon understanding, right, how to get there. So that means it's contingent upon understanding, Bodhisattva's way of life, what is bodhicitta, what are the 6 perfections, etc., and practice them as well, study and practicing them. Okay? To be able to do that, we have to rely upon the content or the subject matter of this text. So all of those things are, interconnected with each other. That is the coherence. Okay.
Shungu tenzu la kaji tenzu yi ming nye gi tiamar xie la se ta joju shi se wa ra chau se be chwa la ju wa se de chwa de le kar som xiao de da ti ge kang ji kang da jang ju be chwa da ju be chwa chue sum ga ten de te ge de wa de kaji go chue chue ko ran ten ge de se ji ke ji ji yo res kaji tenzu yi ming nye gi tiamar xie la se ti ba ja ming se de ju ju se ming xie 开始学学的商业的这个信息，开始学学的怎么他们在怎么送的，那当呢，学学的怎么在你电视做等，我说去电下片外我是对不对？他都是有的，他考试电脑嘛的那考试，他都在线的嘛来这个，学吧学怎么他是没有这个考试电视怎么统一，怎么他们在的效用过的是我说吧？我听到一点了呀，你就上就往就把些给可能这个人给定给的些去，就定给的些去，样怎么他在的我的原因在定给的些去，可是看大家，但我是对嘛的巧了，可是刚刚发天呢，这不几万的我刚刚定过我了吧，就是定我这种。我的 case 有什么的，这么说明对吧？看这人他国内上那些呢，人家的国人啊的定过是吧？Tibetan学怎么当在你等着做当，我说一些等着偏外意思，我听不着。Tibetan 呢是学的怎么当，但是你现在我做的学吧当，怎么他在做这些？你我说现在在做中的用啊，是吧？现在你可能看到个我做这个嘛，是吧？我的意思是。
So as we said that. This text, fulfills those 4 features of the points, such as purpose, and so scholars have, different ways of explaining, those things. Some scholars say that the very title of the text, that itself highlights, the subject matter, the purpose, the ultimate purpose, and the coherence. Because what is the title of this text in Sanskrit? It's called Bodhisattva Avatar, right? Engaging in the deeds of bodhisattvas. So they said just that very title itself, it highlights all those 4 features. It is about bodhisattvas' deeds. Purpose is to engage in them, and the ultimate purpose is not explicitly mentioned, but that leads to the enlightenment. That's one way of explaining it. Other scholars say that those 4 features are highlighted by the pledge of composition alone. Some others say no, it is highlighted by the pleasure of composition and the expression of humility, together. Yeah. So anyway, it doesn't matter, right? Whichever way we go, the bottom line is this: that this particular text, is characterized by those 4 features. It fulfills those 4 features: meaningful subject matter of the content, general purpose, the ultimate purpose, and interconnectedness between all of them, called coherence.
yang tsek chani devjor job nyembo tinde sunga yesna devjor nyembo tinde khe sunga mes
No, so.
o de khoni gorda devjor se ade de jida nganze tsek ji chola ga khai ja sar de be devjor se tsek kora manyu ta ya de do wa de ju shembo se ade mo devjor kora chi de khong cha ya ma ji de do wa to da 다 책임을 필요하고 가게 진다 devjor 진다 버려와 어디를 이래야 제가 devjor 개발 devjor 개발 어디 달요 말이스 유제군이 가서 미자 갈마다베 돌아가 봐 중세자 땡주들 저베버데 저 메뉴라 돈 갈마다 매 책고에 쳐버스 진짜 돈데 마다 매 책고에 쳐버 점당베 devjor 년부 좀 요서나 녀가 인제베 개발 가와지는 바 시여냐 나 돈을 쳐버 매버 마지 유제 책고는 짱 아니 책에 나서 제베 녀가 이게 지양 배워라서비 devjor 개발 쳐버도 파비 개발 나를 여버 매디 미시보서 세세자 이 조제산이 상지소케와 다른 미자 퇴회 수가 미스 이 들이야 조자직외나야 책도도 devjor의 영화가 제는 영어도 쉬어서 되게 수가 미스 수가 많이 가르쳐서 다는 그 중국의 유제도 가르쳐서나 인데스 거다 디데베데 케바도 펜도 자야 말이시 이 소소 정주선디 야 공부도 줘야 다시바 돈다시 이 소소데 케와냐바기다 그래서 유도 찍바도 디들 카길 펜도 시거라 왔어 어 디데 더달 이 송구였어 디모도 고마 사바히야다 이 책임을 디데 가까이 셔야 미스 돈다지자
Geshe is continuing his explanation on the expression of humility, stanza 2 and stanza 3 in English translations on page 3. So great Bodhisattva Mahasattva Shantideva, he says that I have nothing new to say in this text that has not already been said by Buddha, right, the founding teacher, or by other great masters, for example, like Arya Nagarjuna and so forth. Yeah. And so if you're looking for something new to hear, I have nothing here. Yeah, that has not already been taught by Buddha and other great masters. Yeah. And neither do I have these poetic skills, expertise in the poetic composition. If you are great scholars and you're looking for, I know you have nothing new to say, but at least I'm looking for like this, amazing like poetic expressions, right? That'll take me away, kind of thing. Like he said, I have nothing such skill, so don't expect any poetic expression, expertise in this, because I have no skill in the art of rhetoric and poetry. Then we can ask, like, okay, you said you have nothing new to say, and you have no skills in poetic expression, so then why you write this? Why even you bother to do this? He said, well, the reason I read this is, for 2 reasons. Number 1, I want to, habituate my own mind more and more with the bodhicitta, altruistic mind of enlightenment. Okay? So this is why, by way of writing this text, I'm going to be able to familiarize my own mind more and more with bodhicitta. In the process of doing this, there could be some other people, those who are equal in fortune to me, like my peers with the same merit stock. Now they might get some benefit out of my composition. Okay, so for those two reasons, I have kind of authored this text, Bodhisattva's Way of Life.
我这他的动作中的看见，俺这今天现在他做那个这全部就，不是多么修这里是不是吧？家我这个俺姐，我的俺姐中了当大人说，但可是你这就要不生是被两人下个，媳妇被就要不怎么也是那个，这俺姐没有，俺姐中了当大了。因为我的他听中了的当大第一说，但可是说叫是那俺姐写的，咱没过去是吧？但让这当今天现在让别。但是也不说说的是什么人要没记住我都去这样，这在你看看这什么了？我就说啥，我那时第一多呢，我写我的错那时，我写容到也弄到名字，他可是这玩意儿弄到的，他弄到的被开发出这个呀，可以要么是，因为我那时候是我们主要的。所以说，到半年嘛，就是偏到人是，我就怎么样？天天这么一些，俺的媳妇怎么学？俺的就是要我媳妇学是，别天天我就生活么是呀？就是我天天个呀，呢，看啥？俺姐说的写话，我天天的没有写的，看你上次是不是写话写的？看到也，但看啥？我这要出门去没写，什么东西我没写，我在这个在写的。
So from Dharma point of view or spirituality perspective, this expression of humility, is very important because it accords with Bodhisattva's way of life, and it keeps you humble, and it prevents you from becoming arrogant egomaniacs. And because that's very important. In Dharma, there is no place for, ego, pride, and arrogance. Those are the things we have to overcome. And this expression of humility, basically, he's not doing any marketing here. Like, hey, I have written the best book ever. Here's the best-selling book. You should buy it. Right? I guess I didn't say that. I just added that. He said, I have nothing new to say. I'm not expert poet here. And the reason I do this is just to habituate my own mind with bodhicitta, and when those who are in equal fortune with me get some benefits, right? Being very humble, down to the ground. But the bodhisattvas are very humble. Bodhisattvas do not, think that they are above anybody else. The Tibetan have a proverb saying, bodhisattvas think that there is nobody below me except the water running underneath the ground, right? Nobody is below me, everybody is above me. Yes, this is how humble bodhisattvas are. And of course, this does not sit well with the mundane activities, right? In mundane activities, we have to blow our own trumpet a little too hard, right? Hey, I'm the one. Here's my book. Buy it. All of that. And it looks like in the mundane affairs, like if you don't play your trumpet, sometimes people tremble upon you. They're like, you are nobody, so who cares? Then you're like, no, I'm somebody, Here's what I wrote. It's outstanding book. No, like anybody else's book, right? You have to blow the trumpet like all of that, right? But that doesn't go well with the Bodhisattva way of life. It doesn't need it to be there. So therefore, Shantideva is not blowing his trumpet at all. As a matter of fact, he is humbling himself by saying that I have nothing new to say. I am not a poet expert, laureate here. So if you are expecting something new to hear, if you are looking for some rhetorics and practical expressions, I don't have anything for you. Okay? So this is not for the scholars. This is for people who are interested in Bodhisattva's way of life and who wants to follow it. Yes.
In the Sabahia Miss, the Jaka Miss Sungur Mati, Tonda de Bashina, in the Sanji Sung Madame Vishet, and the Suzo Bag Casa Ronzum said that this Mare, Suzo Lushin Shiata, in the Devjo of the Jangwa Jagin, and the Sanji Sal Drag, Lamdi, Shizimolo, but then pop two Morris, Tonda le fool did Pagoris or that.
No, so. So if we kind of look very carefully and read it more carefully, the lines such as where Shantideva says, there's nothing here that has not been explained before. So what he's really saying is that if anybody is going to write a book on his own without depending upon Buddha's words and teaching, well, that work is not going to lead anybody to enlightened state, isn't it? Because to follow the path leading enlightenment, we are very much dependent upon Buddha's discourse and the teaching. So if anybody claims that as if I am like I can do it without Buddha's words, then that work probably is not a good explanation on path to enlightenment. So that's the meaning behind this statement. Okay? And also where he says, I have no skill in the art of rhetoric or poetic expression. He said that if people give too much attention to the art of composition, the poetic expressions, that kind of expression is not likely to lead you, on the path to enlightenment. Yeah? So those are the meanings, associated with these lines.
我记得我只是的控制，他的只要写到我的也的，可是啥？因把这边送出，但这边写起到这边的呢，马上写这边，比家这个都是现在，但这边写的，写到这边写的干的让这里考呀，这是要是吧？但的就是让这开要嘛是吧？但这边写的写完的，但的这边的那做着的写的，写就了这个。这下面就是这些写的吧？我最喜欢的，这把写的。新中国就是这些写的，做着才来写。你现在这六家练的写，所以我都这写的现在，你这把写的新中国这个这些写就是这些写的应该的。
没错。As I mentioned the other day, there are many commentaries written on Shantideva's text, A Guide to Bodhisattva Way of Life. When we talk about commentary, we can think in terms of auto-commentary or commentaries written by others. There is no auto-commentary on this Shantideva's work. In other words, Shantideva himself did not write a commentary on his own work. Okay? But there are many other commentaries. At least the one I'm using it mentions 5 to 6 commentaries on this. And so among them, there is what we call a great commentary on Bodhisattva's Way of Life by Shijung Lorde. So that is regarded more like a prime commentary, and which is referred to by others. And so that's more like main commentary. And the reference is made to that.
这从了地区做嘛了，地区说人别是兄弟吧做些吧等，偏到吧说人别生做些吧，在最近有话嘞，老公学会难点呢，偏到吧说人别也是地区等，人都做些吧，那么人的是。我听着，现在知道地区怎么说的，什么东西上要看这个称的呗，这我就念不下，他都写这些，看一称是这面呢，到那两天了，偏多什么偏多全部用个这个的，什么东西你说你有那呢，如果写完了的那得来是个，偏多做些个的么，这样路的单个的么来是个。
So authors might have different motivation, intention, and focus when they author a work. And some of the authors maybe their motivation is they want to show to everybody else, how great a scholar they are. So they pay attention to the art of writing, the art of composition, the poetic expression, so that others can know who I am. But there are others who don't pay much attention to the art of writing, but they pay more attention to, because their motivation is to benefit others. Okay? So the subject matter matters more, and Shantideva as an author, he really gives more importance to benefiting others. He did not pay much attention to the art of writing or the poetic expressions. He focused more on what is going to benefit others.
我知道我的这些得出来没得是， yang lobong ngoto toba tang demba se chegla goba la sobo mewa toba me ribe shizo tang rong gi tong zamba nyeba ni keba ngombe nga ye jen khaji gi chue da de zo go se ba shi ba to dobe she da kewa nyamba go te da de ba she so de she gonde la so ba shi lo wo gi shi na song wo sa da khaji se na da de da roni komba cha ji se da de ga ga ji shen dong ji dong king jung ga to da mo ji da ni 그런 배 semba시에 보이는 박백 사톱자리 현주 sem바 셴버에 자리스 인 대저 좀배 롱동 그것도 요마리 현동 바히 뭐도 요마리스 어 디저 로본 가게 생게 디저 요리스 다 거기 인디제스 시와라 박백 강자리스 인 디저서 뭐 그런 시대는 박박 메스가 소주 인송으로 왔디 시다 어디오래 시다 뒤인자 가이 시다시다 다다디 시다데 강가리 현뱅산 바시에 뭐도 로본 코는 디데기야 최저다 디데 그바 미시 고야 요마리시보다.
Yes. Some scholars, they regard Bodhisattva Shantideva as Arya Bodhisattvas or Transcendental Bodhisattvas, and as Arya Bodhisattvas, they are completely, dedicated for the well-being of others. They have no self-interest at all. And so therefore, when Shantideva said that I have written this work to acquaint my own mind with the Bodhisattvas, Bodhicitta, that's that he's just trying to be humble here. Because, he's already not only a Bodhisattva, but a transcendental Arya Bodhisattva. And so he doesn't need to do that, So he's just trying to be very humble, but everything he has done is nothing but for the benefit of others. Okay, so that's their perspective on this work. But Shantideva himself never claimed to be a transcendental or Arya Bodhisattva. He said, I'm just an ordinary, person.
Oh dear, Tibetan rang yil sama shangju se zo shebe tikwa shebu lam je se nyane nga ne chiru yo na meni je pewa da ngar me na yo gom de gyula je sher nge tenju de zambo shewa yinde koba ta chimba she no ton se wa ngusun do to ba ju she se da de la zam shebe nge de zam se ya jo de da ga shebe tsegi de ma ne 투유 조바점 심베 돈인베세 임바 제신도 제시소 송소스다 년데 점지도 되는 고주고로 점차요 말아 시다 책데 내제 년데 점지 내즈시야지 가르선다 남제 카디 요리다 드 점바 조바면서야지와 시다 코로 토고 강이 차선을 샤도요 와 디기샤 토고 조바인자 점시니 네 내즈잖아 디그레서다
So there is in the English translation, it has been translated as on page 3, I write this in order to acquaint it to my mind. So the present tense is used here, right? But in the Tibetan text, it means I wrote this, I authored this, right? It's in the past tense. And so some scholars said, well, he's just starting to write this, so why he used the past tense, right? I wrote this or I authored this. So the explanation on that Tibetan word, not in the English one because it says I write here, is that although in terms of actual work he is writing it now, but already in his mind he has completely got the guide to Bodhisattva's way of life in his mind. It's already complete in his mind. So it's already authored inside his mind, isn't it? So that's why, so it's okay he used the past tense, I authored it. I wrote this.
어디 다디 킹좀 뭐 다디 좋아져 돼 이봐 이게 다시 뭐 고샤잖아 가자 랑기 일라 콤지를 녜데자 겨와 콤지 다기 대베축 대다 계제 레시 페줄라 다데 겨와냠바 신지 짱 제데데다 통노 통인 줄 소디다 인데 좋아져 돼입니다 다 킹좀 뭐 좋아져 니는 다 킹좀 좋아져 돼디 Chua Jeva di Tin Su, Chua Jeva said, Shiva Chua Jeva ni Yagum to saw this. On the wrong Kung di Shivana, Kung di Machina, Shunzamba Mirik by Kung di Shin, Mirilla, Kung di Shina, Tini, Kung Jeva show mu. Show mu, show the tone Devi. Show mu wrong. Rondo de ya, rondo de zum gushi, zum de gubajian, somebody, you want to give you in so she no say. Did a doctor don't ya in the some the renewed of the Mongolia did it in the go to us the Pashiris or the cases.
Hello, sir.
Oh, so she had shown you some so take what teaching lamjes, young. Tashi Sundi, Yawa Jashabala, Nani, Shupa Namji, Tamji, Yumi Nimshin, Kumbi to the Rangu Jumba Sham, Gumshin Jeba Shay, Tension Ding Zomba Shiva Yin La Teang, Shung Zombe, Caps Mada Majeba, Yang, Rankara Juba Menji, Tikwashim Busungi, Nidon Saji Yasha no, on the ring the Taji Jedi, Jeba Shen. 做梦就把赢了，第一次那个月了，天对一些节特别凶伤，原来热气节凶多吧，对他来讲热气的汤不，让个月了空白的凶啊，就话写吧的热气呢人不都把被生一被，这样空气写吧你推吧怎么的？ 走老了，下雨空的时候，咱就东西到是越了没越了是，见没女呗，你没帮我说一小些没女了，但是嘛是年代就空心是女呗，你没帮我说一小些没女可是，没女呗，你没帮我。 所以小些没女啦，但是嘛是年代的空心，这话嘛是呢，退休些吧男家，这话就话当，听说你个当，小学生说我们东南了，这里大对你们着，可见，但是现在呢，这个很多可能这么现在恐怕有的是，过些吧子空的些吧，我这个现在，人过上严重嘛的是，过样样车呢，要是来空的。 恐怕他现在那上街过去嘛，都是70岁跌下去，那个上街都没得事。现在过来养猪这边就开始现在天这个这边要的事。我现在的我那个韩国把头冲的那养猪空位这个要的事。
Now this commentary relates to the stanza number 3 in English, where it states. Also, I mean the line before that. I wrote this in order to acquaint it to my mind, for due to acquaintance with what is wholesome, the force of my faith may for a short while increase because of these words and so forth. Yeah, and it's kind of interesting relating to where Shantideva says that one of the reasons why I wrote this text is to familiarize my own mind with the Bodhicitta and Bodhisattva way of life. Yeah, and then some critics kind of thinking that, writing a book is, as a matter of fact, a distraction for practitioners, isn't it? If you are meditators, right, then you have a plan to write a book. Well, that's a distraction from your practice, you know. So it kind of like, implication is why would you do that? It's distraction from your practice. But Shantideva is saying that it's very important to familiarize our mind and habituate our mind, with bodhicitta and virtues. It's through that kind of familiarization we can enhance and we can increase the virtues, isn't it? So that's a very important part of it. As Geshe explained, that it's not just good enough to understand, even properly the subject matter of this text. If you leave just to that understanding is good, but that understanding alone is not going to make us bodhisattvas or lead us to the enlightened state. because that understanding needs to be cultivated in our mind through meditation, familiarization process. As we familiarize more and more what we have understood, we deepen our understanding and we enhance our experiences, and this is the process through which we can achieve enlightened state. So the process of familiarization or habituation is central to achieving enlightenment. Yeah. And even the virtues that we have, we need to familiarize more so that they become stronger, they get enhanced. Otherwise, sometimes, we know something and then we easily forget it. We have to reflect on, contemplate repeatedly on our understanding, and so therefore, familiarizing our mind with bodhicitta and wholesome is essential, for achieving enlightenment.
They gumshavan tada rangi kumsia di kesa timida. Sim gumsa tangan tu gumsa kare sim gewe mi bad yana tebi. Minum yunchuan kong yin jewa shiwe tong des gumsan da kanjir da jeda gumsa telia ningje de changba charu se gumsa jikse yang tongni gumsa meta gumsa gumji ni doa.
No.
Ta tongni de meta gumsa de kollo ti gu jas kai mar bu tongni de meta wa yu de sia de ro. Ningje changba se de susu sem di ya chambe gu je ningje gu je charu se gu je ar mi je charu se ningje de pa yu de sia de ko gumsa de ge ja mar ba. Gumji ni ndo chore sim.
And so the Tibetan word is called gom, which normally we would translate it as meditation, but here in this context translated as to acquaint, to familiarize, And so when we think in terms of familiarization or meditation or the gom in Tibetan word, what it really in this context is we are acquainting or familiarizing our mind with virtues. Right, anything wholesome and virtue, as we familiarize our mind more and more with it, there is increase and enhancement of virtues, because that's very important. So if we translate Gom as meditation, right, there are all kinds of meditation. For example, if you are meditating on what we call love and compassion, actually what we are trying to do is we are trying to generate our own mind, in the aspect of love and compassion. Right, our mind can arise as compassion, arise as love. Right, that's what we call meditating on love and compassion, or cultivating love and compassion. But if we're meditating on emptiness and impermanence, that's a different meditation. We are simply focusing our mind on impermanence and emptiness, because we cannot generate, or we are not trying to generate our mind into emptiness and impermanence. Okay? Emptiness or impermanence is our object of meditation or focus, and we are simply focusing our mind meditatively on them, isn't it? Whereas when we meditate on love and compassion, our mind arises as love and compassion. So meditation could have different meanings there,
Oh, that karsa ta gomsa goba de su de higesari. Toji ka there says the workers omshawa yube juwa zewa imbe he so to ji che de sim ge me ba na la kong yin je ba shi ba gu ba shi go ba yin nya na se en sim di ya en ge me ba yang de ri go ya da kong go ya di kar che ne je se na tongma me ba ne ro sim go on di gyur ma do sim di rang on di gyur to go mars she da ro sim go on di gyur ro di san sim di ni mo on di gyur en be lunga is je wa ga me ga ko ra sa ne en be ko tongma me wa ne en di du ngo nyu ga de sha go ris ta gom di ja ne en ro sim go on di ma je wa je sim di rang on di gyur to so na en di ne ko ya sa she da ro ne en di de she ne yar she ne sa ji go mo ris to go ro she da de zawa de what it is that the wrong same on the queue that the gom the same the wrong on the queue tondal kumbu is.
So why must we do meditation? Why must we focus on wholesome, that which is virtuous or virtue, and increase and enhance it through the meditation process? What's the reason? The reason is, since beginningless time until now, we have let our mind control us, all our thoughts and actions, isn't it? Our mind has been controlled in turn by afflictive emotions or delusions, kleshas. Yeah? And under their influence, we have physically, verbally, and mentally, through the actions of our bodies, speech, and mind, mostly we have done unwholesome actions or negative actions. And these negative actions have resulted our existence in samsara and going round and around and around in samsara. Okay? So now, instead of letting our mind control us, letting our mind be controlled by afflictive emotions, and afflictive emotions kind of making us do all the negativities, we want to bring our mind under our control, isn't it? So to bring our mind under our control, we have to focus on positive thing, virtue, and do meditation. As we develop control over our mind, and our mind is focused on virtue, so when we think anything positive, that leads to positive actions. So as we familiarize more and more with a positive state of mind and positive way of thinking, then all things we do become good, better, best, leading to enlightened state. Yeah, so that's the purpose of why do we have to meditate, why do we have to familiarize more and more with wholesome actions, wholesome things.
Oh, the Goma Inos, Chirians, Sapa, the Geshe, teaching Suro Nal, Tevagun to Muba, the Tedaki, Tenshi, Dumbachabu, Tusun so you go, teaching land, Rimbaling ever, Kondu, Don't Tibashi, Rugi never sourcing. Any Java shave, top short Java, in Latin, teaching La Hubi, later one Nami John, leather shave, Zoo. 引起提进把提把些木用了，大多些吧拉萨吧，说了是控制小吧，同的些吧，胳膊的些吧，我说都现在呢，我的家里这些呢，让三个安的马上，谁让安着多些，提把些木用了，说过说些，都是娘那些呢，提把些木làm gì mà càng càng bị khôn được coi bị đó vào yang muốn nói hiện rõ tu res thao thao được việc gì để res cái gì.
Awesome. So the bottom line is this, that instead of letting our mind control us and our mind being controlled by the afflictive emotions, now we change the course of action, thinking. We bring our mind under our control. We want our mind to be focused on positive and wholesome and virtue and familiarize more and more with it forever. And through the study, contemplation, and meditation on the path and practices of Bodhisattva's Way of Life or Mahayana, as we familiarize our mind more and more and more with these things, we will progress spiritually like anything. And it could be exemplified by the waxing moon, how the moon becomes big and bigger, right? That phases, so in the same way, we will see progress, spiritual progress or Dharma progress within ourselves.
What is it? That kind of combat the teacher, so you come a show and said that will come go out, you did them come and go come you are the using the thing is the jewelers. Of course, thing is the thing, Chula. Guashing Kong the Shiver Sha, Sheda Mount me Tagna, tell a name, number Tobati, Teta tell a Simshu, here's about the rose, or same the Cartel Comashena, young Edin Kawal Comashena, what the conventions of Joadit, Jaza Jata Mayores.
No, sir.
Say that this or that time, you move so good, you wish Shabu, yes, so good, give a Shabu, any combatashi on it, and you move so that never she give up by. 타라도 기원 바시 니무셔다 내가 샤그라와 산지는데 종산님과 샤고 어디도 공야 생구 연대적 거래에서는 공통의 예술 공론에 어디야 그 가다는 야야 다는 다 도도는 다시 다 같이 로드지는 들어와 미소야다 다데 lumbal로야시나 로다 수제시고리
No.
다 기본동야 가가야 네타야 저 시고 가가요 로드 서버라
No.
그 비제다나지 입자 정식 관리거라
No. In the Samadhi Raja Sutra or the King of Concentration Sutras, Tenzin Dorjee in Tibetan, as Krishna read it and explained, that we can familiarize our mind with anything, good and bad. Okay, mind, if we familiarize it with negative way of thinking, afflictive emotions, it gets really familiarized well with them, and then afflictive emotions increase within ourselves, and they become very strong and rampant, and then they can do crazy things. On the other hand, if we familiarize our mind with the positive thinking and positive state of mind, our mind will also become very positive, right? Mindset. So through familiarizing our mind with positive way of thinking, when we reach nirvana or freedom from samsara, from then onward, right, and all our mind is never going to be negative at all. It's always going to be positive. When we finally achieve the enlightened state or Buddhahood, which is free of all kinds of mental obscurations and negativities, and endowed with all realizations, the thereafter there's nothing going to be negative and destructive, isn't it? So the point is that our mind has the ability and power to get familiarized with anything you want to familiarize it with. If you make it delusional, it can become super duper delusional. If you can make it very positive, it can become super duper positive and lead us to nirvana and enlightenment. Yeah. So the footnote is choice is ours. Footnote close.
다 티는 되게 시험을야 대박 고글에서 다 디고글서 대다 예수 모두요 내 대백 흉필이 시에 동안 대박네 거저 당이 오는 저 신서 싸웠다 보죠 이 되게 뭐인라 대라영 톱제 연대소라 돈예기 에네 뇌베 대바스 뭔도 대바서야 돼 가지고 소소 돈이야 돼 그래서 다 사실 연대도 땅한테 도구도 사야지는 뭔도 대바스 그러와 지단 나자 또만 접제 집부터 왜 대바지야 돼 건도 통해 대바스 뭐 먼저 도와야죠 말봐 그리고 연대다 하시래 뭐 도와야가 요 말봐 다 렌데도 대바스에서 레 리브 가서 겨알에 대화 연구와다 메가 동아 연구와들이 이제 대바스 지도 대바 그 남자는 soms도 그 미미도 가가도
an example Geshe gave in the previous one, and I forgot to use the explanation. So in other words, mind can be directed into negative thinking or positive thinking. The choice is ours. It's just like a technology today, right? Technology can be used in a meaningful way, and it brings the wonders in our life, right? Electricity, all kinds of amenities, life becomes very easy and comfortable and smooth. Technology can be misused, and it can destroy the whole humanity, bring so much destructions, isn't it? So like that, the mind can be used positively and negatively because it has the ability to get directed into anything, okay, and familiarize it with. So therefore, we should use our mind to focus on positive thing, familiarize more and more with it, so that we can, achieve nirvana and enlightenment. And that being said, in the beginning, it's important for us to cultivate faith, as Shantideva highlights here. He said, by acquainting himself with the wholesome, the force of my faith may increase for a short while. But the power of faith, Tibetan word deva, is very vital in spiritual development. So in the Buddhist texts, we talk about the different types of faith, at least 3 of them. Yeah? There is what called aspiring faith. Yeah? Dumbe deva. That means when we reflect on the enlightened qualities, then we said, okay, I would like to be enlightened like them. Yeah, I aspire for the same qualities, right? So we get inspiration from the great qualities of the holy masters, and we would like to achieve them, aspire for them. That's called aspiring faith, isn't it? But then the faith can also be in the form of admiration. If you look at Shakyamuni Buddha, right, we admire Shakyamuni Buddha for who he is. You know, he became an enlightened being. But we cannot become a Shakyamuni Buddha, because that's Shakyamuni Buddha, right? You cannot be a Shakyamuni Buddha. So that kind of a faith is admiration faith. It's not an aspiring faith, because you cannot aspire to be a Shakyamuni Buddha, because he is already a different person there. Okay. Then there's another kind of faith we call faith as conviction or trust. So this is when we believe in the infallibility, luwa meba in Tibetan, of law of karmic action and result. Right? Good karmas bring good results, bad karmas bring bad results. They can never mess up, right? And we trust that. We develop conviction in that. So that kind of faith as a conviction, right, helps us to be able to follow the law of karma properly. So those are different types of faith.
Shene o ti jidao teba ti gorje te da pe regdo deni ene tenju de la pe da goso je de sheba nan shi de yoja de go ju to ganga yosani yije shene te la do da de tenju zel ju ena en tam ji sheba go to re sani o ti de yije shene jo go res ta sho de te yin si wo.
So based upon that line from Shantideva where he says the force of my faith may for a short while increase. Another way of reading that is, it really highlights the importance of cultivating faith. As a matter of fact, it said that faith is the source of developing or accomplishing positive qualities. And so based upon those four characteristics of this text has a meaningful subject, right? It deals with Bodhisattva's, attitude and way of life, state of mind. And that by understanding it, we fulfill the purpose of studying this text, and by practicing what is explained here, we can become a Buddha. That is the ultimate purpose, and all of them are interconnected. That is coherence. So understanding that, we should develop this conviction in the authenticity and the credibility and the subject matter of this text. So that's also faith. Faith is a conviction. We said, you know what? I believe in Shantideva, what he has said here, and I'll follow his explanation, follow his footsteps, so that I can also become a Bodhisattva and Buddha eventually. Yeah.
Teso pewa tang shendi kewa nyam genyam shenlang ti shendi pepe to joa yula teso pewa kasa tenla deshe to deda di jang ni shengi tong la kowa yibi sher kowa di tong tang jewa gobat jewa yindi jigi daryang shengi tong la kowa sebi sheru she songsa tena Di shirhi xiandong samba dala me jie songba, di xiandong zu xiong zi zamba men xeba tong men jie. Di shirhi xebe cegu nube go ne se, di xiandong jia xiongbo drup nyambi nga jie ji samba me jie, xing juwa ziwe tong yinba xeba shawo se. Da tizhi xiandong samba dala me se, di xiandong samba zane xeme pendo samba zane me se, jizi xiawa la songba tizhi ma re se go, rwa. And the Shano Shibu Shigyo son, that thing, Tirika Shibushi Bay Shigyo some most don't say on the Chomari. What did they have some music or was it? She don't sabotage the music over.
In the second stanza in English translation, the third line reads, "Therefore, lacking any intention to benefit others, I wrote this in order to acquaint it to my mind." Right? So literally, it seems like Shantideva is saying that, I have no intention to benefit others writing this book. But that's not the meaning. Okay? The meaning here is, because he's a Bodhisattva who cares about others, and what this means is that he has no great expectation writing this work, right? And of course, he has the wish to benefit others, which is understandable. From down below, he said, those who are equally unfortunate with me, they may find it beneficial, right? So he really has a wish to benefit others, but lacking any intention to benefit others means that he does not have any great expectations, right? Writing this, text.
There is a Sadi the Dorjee Meba Young Toma Rangula, Teso Pewatang. Then the Hiena Pemba so Kanga Samja Rangi Deju Zombala Dorjee Batang, Shandaja Dorjee, Juri Betongi, Tigi Juba or Rangshala Pemba Goba Yuja D. Deju Gobatang. You go there by him base, go so she Dirshe and Dela. Go so you by Deba and Della, Shenda Juba toned there by him be. Dija Shenla Pembe, Rawa Yuba Deba Shiva show. Don't know Tedaki, Rondo Yulundo, Numba Nam. I shung the Demigula. She king teaches so you told him Manjurian. Kiwa Nyaba, Kiwada. Tendela so Pembe told you, so Geshe Deba knows that donna, and the details of a Govat Dragi goes as you got all your day. And in Dika the Troyes are Dikadula goes as you dance and degrees. What Sozo this and the Sozo Julia, any Yamdo Kondo Payat. In the round that they come to the Yamba to let pay out the years, then you be edited. Go the other you go your she said, Dika Dulayati, any Gozo Shogi de la Jana degrees or that goes to Shiki Tombo Sen, Chiva Jubasi, Teta Tena, Gozo Shiki Java Jaguaris, any that the Chiva Jewel, then Shushu and any Karshi say, and the Kosa Chabaji, consumer Shushu Shumar. Tono Chabaji Tona she was she's the Shiva Judusana, Tenju Samyak, Guzoshi, then show Residua. That digger drop la Duzutona, she diligent la young Guzoshi, then show. Consequently, Digger Josu Samyaki till trade in Yungorova, which is that Samyak Kagaten Shogorova, which is Guzoshi Kawatan and Dejana degrees, Deja racing.
So one of the things that we talk about today quite a bit is about how this text, as an example, it fulfills those four salient features of writing a text, which the four are, I repeat, meaningful subject matter or content, right, general purpose kind of thing, and then the innermost purpose or the ultimate purpose, and how those things are interconnected. That's the coherence, isn't it? So according to some scholars, they said that Shantideva, has reason, for writing this work, and it has a very meaningful, subject matter, and so they said all of those four features are highlighted by the very title of this text, Bodhisattva Avatar, engaging in the deeds of bodhisattvas. Others said, yes, that's true. Those four features are already here, and these are highlighted by the pledge of composition. Okay? And others said, yeah, that's true, but those four features are highlighted by the third stanza, where Shantideva takes joy or delight, in acquainting his mind with what is wholesome, and then wishing that others who are equally unfortunate with him get benefit out of this. So the point here is that this is a very authentic text that fulfills all those four reasons or the purposes or the features. Okay. That's it for today. We'll stop there today, and we will answer your questions there. Page 4. Oh. Question number 1. But why does Shantideva need to announce his humility? That under the king Junyachi or Wagen. King Junyachi. Dear Kuala Kandi Shugu Wagen. And Geshe Shiva like King Jun 과외도 가르쳐 버렸어. 다음에 카가 슈션 지금 올라고 하게. 맞는데 냠중이 슬랍 공부 쓰고다. 그게 되려도 너무 되게. 저 캥중 과외도 가리나서 하게. 지밀에 장가 캡라치는 와. 캥 진데 배가 딘데 캡라치고 가리나서.
저 캥주가 가르쳐서 되려서 왔다. 나게 자가 인식 왔다. 제가 막 소소디 따와도 막막나 이렇게 도다체버로 사고 해오던 이게 쉬우셔요. 삼성 좀 제모야 요말에
말게 그들로서 다디 거바들 와게 이네 딘데도 요네 코 카가 대신 지고 올라 그러니까 가제도 맞자 알아 카좀 데밀이야 가제 짜요다스 라고 말스 거다 딜로 거다게 혼자 슈프네
듣고도 쯔베 형을 용거다 더번에는 가르사 저 잡아 가르 사바다게 인가 매워상게 인가마다가 잡 인가마다가 짠짠 거 말이슬라로 다들 뒤에는 그거 이제 예마디 가가 바 참주도 루루도 도제마 사쇼죠 말이지 얘도 사쇼죠 손 시딩 있을라로
몰라네
에네 어디 사도 디 그거한테 좀 거야 그거 된 거로 와다 그거한테 뒤에 그거 뉴스도 다 도제마 사쇼 야고 차대로 야고 차대에서 다딩에 야고 힘을 차었어요 예 매버 힘을 써요 쓰는 뒤에서 돈다지는 되지 샤워로 와다 진짜 다 뒤에 힘을 쓰게 쓰는 어디제 가지자 그냥 가지당 요로 진짜 가지자야 돈달라 경중고를 쓰러와 sem 무슨 도고야 소야 되다 좋아하게 진짜 sem 곰좀 이제 가르려야니 가르시는 sem디 하장 통보만이 하장 마보만이 봐 sem 코징 보고 쓰다 먼저 사람들이 라지야 너무 짜지세야 지고 말이 진짜 좀 코징만 지고 되면은 sem 통매 주되나 ene chawada samlo karanga yago yomar legdo sheda kyungya zi ma pabya che joya sem ya chagya che ta khonye be nyumbo de se da khadu de so na ene sem de leung do ro dije ki
no so de 가서 당긴 딜레를 시시는 거 코란절이야 제 시발라게 다 소소소리야 다 정하게 맞아 제 숨샤레스 뭐 뒤에다 권수 삼하게 카가 슈션지로 랍과에도 가르쳐서
랍과에 지도 디데 가지자 비다 다른 것도 샤자도 간가 쉬쉬 샤자 간가 가지 자가 됐어도 와 어디에 그거 거기 수수주 탐에 벌데 어디에 대서 수수 가지 자 내가 휴저라 진짜 되겠다 걸사 그런 지지 셔라도 수지와 타면 말이지 지당 이게 도동 거 시고로
no so so I was trying to get to answer to your question and the question is why does Shantideva need to announce his humility this is I think because I think when you look up in the commentaries and all the discussions and the critics raising all kinds of points to the right and left and to answer them so one explanation is this this is the expression of humility to subdue his own ego and arrogance but to answer your question I think Shantideva has expressed it more to remind himself right to how should I say keep his ego down so it's more like a reminder as well as to send this message to others that when you write a text like Dharma meaningful, right, just get the ego out of the equation kind of thing. So that is the reason. And so there are, in some way, it is also following the tradition of composition, right, how this is a very wonderful tradition being set to be able to, expression of humility is a wonderful tradition set to remind yourself to subdue your ego, overcome your ego. So Shantideva in a sense is following that kind of a tradition. For example, Geshe says there are other actions which represent the same thing. If you paid attention that a teacher before he gives teaching Dharma, right, he prostrates to the Buddha and his gurus and things like that before he sits on the throne. This also to humble himself, right, to keep his own ego down. And sometimes some lamas might sit on the throne and they might also recite certain stanza or the lines just to reflect on impermanence, things like that, so that you don't develop ego sitting on a high throne and teaching the public, right? So these are actions and practices that go with taming your ego. The next question Buddhas represent awakened qualities, whereas Bodhisattvas put these qualities into action. Why is it not a better aspiration to want to be Bodhisattva who can actually interact with sentient beings and help them directly rather than accomplish Buddhahood where you do not help in such earthly ways? That is what they did again. The Sangye Sudi Rovage, Sangye Rova Sangye. Sangye Dega Data, Koban di Karso or that, Gyungus and Yundu Koma top the Rovage, in that Sangye Sigo Rova. And then this Sangye Dimi Kanga that Jetugu Yamarwage, Sangye. Jetugu Shindun get Chetugu Amares. The Sangye give Monetane can be Yundan Diga the Chundun chicken that Kayo Lagu Langde and Dogan, changes somebody get a shas Rovage. That the Monet the Kayo like big DJ, Shemish with Chigudus. Then they saw that and a Sangye, Chanju Samba Chegi, and a Dubadigana Yagumar, Shindun was Sigurs, Rovage. Sangye, and any Shindun was any Chigimi to cover shooting, Zoro again. Cheta Chanju Samba Chegi, Dubadigana Yagumar, Sangye, Yimina, and Zamuling the Mape and Minium the Todi said him into that Chanju Samba in a Kochigu to Zoroga. Chanju Samba Duma the Yagumar, Sangye, Sangye Chag Dubale. Higher lives in the mill penalty.
This is the almost with the euro. Though several shots and y'all and the way said that Shantideva Sema he was Shantideva Sema Sangye Jungo is that they couldn't the Chana he worried.
No.
Said that this the Shantideva Sema he was Shartse, said that though several charges and the Shanzi later was he would. No, so. The Sangye you could terrace.
No, so.
And that's not yet that he does Yartona Kayomara.
No.
What is it? Dasa such a no, but you said this depend the dog, the chances about the house he was Sangye. Sangye doing that this is when they Geshe said there.
No.
Sangye do something, can she answer Jigden, you will say, you would, yes. Give substance, bongs, you must do. What the Langa of singing the Shantideva Semaris? No. So the Shantideva Semati he was Ashamoris. No, sir. What the Ashamoris? No. So that's Shantideva Semati, Lam Zon Sangye. So that's that. Shantideva Semati Sangye on the chair, Jidan. No, Time again, Sangye and the Shantideva number of Shantideva was love segment. Once some Sangye, the Maju Jig Mother, Lagan into the Shigo. Sangye passed the trouble issue, Lagan into medium the middle. Shantideva Semati the Kalesh with the medium, the Jubu doesn't go again. The election Yagro again. Did the Sangye to go to what the Sangye and Shantideva Travashi, Sutravashin, be a Tomera? No, the question. No. So Geshe says that, I mean, the way you ask the question, I think this really goes in a sense well with what the salutation that's made by a great Indian master Acharya Chandrakirti in his supplement to the Middle Way, Madhyamik Avatar. Okay, and so where I think he makes kind of a salutation to great compassion and bodhisattvas rather than to Buddhas. And so in this regard, the bodhisattvas are regarded more important than enlightened beings or the Buddhas. As a matter of fact, Buddha himself in many sutras has very highly praised the bodhisattvas. He said they should be cherished like anything, especially the ordinary bodhisattva, beginner's bodhisattva. They should be really cherished, and because these are the seeds, right? These are like seeds germinate into enlightenment. Right, without bodhisattvas, there cannot be Buddhas. And so the example Buddha has given is if you kind of salute the beginning phase of the waxing moon, it is as if you have paid a salutation to the whole phases of the moon. But if you salute only the full moon, that's only the full moon salutation, not for the whole phases of the moon, kind of thing. So So bodhisattvas are very much appreciated and very much respected. Even Buddha said we should really cherish them because they are the ones who are engaged in the actions benefiting sentient beings, as you said, many literally. But of course, bodhisattvas is not the end result or the outcome, right? They are on a way to become Buddhas.
Because until they become enlightened beings, however great qualities they have, they are still incomplete, isn't it? Because as an enlightened being, then you will be able to benefit sentient beings more. So as enlightened beings, you can manifest as bodhisattvas, right, in different forms to be able to work for sentient being. So that's why, I think, I should say, bodhisattvas are important, but the end result has to be enlightened man, because as enlightened being, of course, as Buddhas, my footnote, we ordinary people, because of our obscuration, don't see Buddhas directly. They can't do much with us, but Buddhas can manifest as bodhisattvas, right, similar to us, and then work for us and benefit us. So that's, and the next question is, why is this the only text, or is it the commentaries on which includes such extensive discussion of the four interrelated purpose of qualities? Ale tanda gang tirin kyoso chushi gebushi song song age. Jata gang tanda karishu gore di deva si de orwage. Deva di chigo na ya di kyoso chushi di gebushi koran deva shamba dene na dene kyoso chushi shushe deva the tema song sarwage. La kyoso chushi di junju deva shanda na la roage. Kyoso chushi keje shira shingen mindu sarwage. Di chi shushe de deva di machine kyoso chushi shigi marwesa deva shanda.
你听到了，古时这先把有，古时是刚刚有，但先把讲嘛，你是好的嘛。
好嘞，现在过这些你都给不起不
这些那看到个是有的，你那当然多，刚刚拍下来有，只要有个刚刚有的。
No. Geshe says that in other commentaries also, they may be much shorter, or like a few words that usually they highlighted those four features. But of course, in this commentary, it has been explained more extensively. Okay. The next one, didn't Geshe tell us what Shantideva did not actually write this text? Ale di karso gore ke ta dagi nge di sam slab ro ge khazang ema geng thum sundu kal da de ko sar ba ta karso gore shiwa la ge sungje nang ge je mi ge sindi je ge thum yi de je sindi je ge khona thi yo ma ra la go ge khazang geng karso gore shiwa la ge thi yo ma sum me ba sa ro ta tin ding ye sam la ro ge ta di gwa du sig me ro ke
ale jo de lo de da thi sa ji wo che so ba da fe ji wo kan lo ji wa
no sa So Geshe says that of course Shantideva gave this teaching, and he flew into the sky, and others were taking notes, right? But of course the author of this text is still Shantideva. Yeah, so it is okay to say that he authored this, or maybe wrote is technically wrong, but he authored it. Maybe we could say that, Yeah. Next one. So is meditation on love and compassion actually a meditation on aspect of mind? Is this an example of one of the four close placements of the mind, in this case placement on mental phenomena? So that again kom sundi kan ya cham nimji komda jiksum bi ba ge cha the cham nimji komya di so sem di cham da nimji number ti ge yu sa ro ge cha dan di kom di ane sem gi number che ya lo te ba ro cha ge ro sa kom de ro ba ge
re di che gom si di ni je ko ro cha ane ko yu di shin ha gom se ya no dire ma ro ba
no
so lo di kar sa
no
kar sin je du nge me je ngol ya ja ro ba
no di chiwa di gen sa da ni ba shi du ba chiwa sa da ni ba de dire she ge is this an example of one of four close placements of the mind? Tanda ge ngazo chöl mig ver wa ge se ro di chag ver ba sa chöl mig sa chag ver sa kom di chamba da ning zo kom de sem chöl mig ba sa
chöl mig ba se na chöl mig ba da
ba kon ma ge kon chö gi je che lo mo ba tang zo chö gi je che lo ba no
la
chö gi je che
chö je se nan kai ma ri da ning je ko mo zi wo ro
ba ning je chamba kom de
ning je chamba ko chö je se nan kai ma ri da sei me hi se wo sei me hi na ji re wo ro
no so Geshe says, yes, when we meditate on love and compassion, as we arise our mind in, compassion and love, that's like, yes, meditating on aspect of our mind. Now, is this like a placement on mental phenomena? He doesn't think so. Okay. Next question. Thank you very much for teaching translation. Would Geshe please characterize the love that the mind becomes in a meditative session and discuss how a bodhisattva expresses that kind of love. Gang toji tatamena chambaris komba inasar again. Says a same the chambang mo case the deshe test now to go to again. Tamadu kom jabdi again. Yeda chen and chanju samba de that chamba yor again. And chamba de ma that shen la temper so again. Understand you rest at the chamba de ma shen yada.
But this is the Tati Shell Pendo sugar, never see Joe Morsia Duba.
No.
Pendo said the Shama de Mora.
No, so. No, so.
Pendo says Shell Pen, Shamba says Shell Pen, they all good.
No.
Because the same thing hunters in the court doing it, they what did Yongoshinan said, in Tikia, they what did Goya, Tapsi of Sing. In this summer don't get Shamba Sigra.
No.
Doing it, the tail, some don't get Ninja Sigra.
No, so.
Could you check on the check because Yamdo Yongo, because you couldn't job me with the Marva.
No, so.
Shamba going Ninja Pay, Ninja going to Shamba Pay.
No, so. Love is defined as wishing others to be happy, and so bodhisattvas, or those of us who cultivate love, we generate our mind in that aspect, wishing others to be happy. Okay, and of course bodhisattvas love is great love, which means wishing everybody, all sentient beings, to be endowed with happiness or find happiness. And how do they express that? Is in their mind, that's they want. They always wish the best for sentient beings, happiness, the best of everything, and then whatever they can do, they are benefiting sentient beings. So working for sentient beings or benefiting sentient beings is an expression of their love. Okay? So when we cultivate love, the other side of that, which is related, could be compassion. Compassion is defined as wishing others to be free from suffering, isn't it? And so if you cultivate compassion, that might somehow induce love, wishing everybody to be happy. If you cultivate love, wishing everybody to be happy, that might induce compassion, wishing everybody to be free from suffering. So they are very kind of related there. The next question: how does one meditate on this text if one wants to do so? How does a monk actually go about it? Do they memorize it or do they recite it while focusing on meanings? So that namju can di chunju ro sha sha ba ina so wa gen. That chunju yong so wa chele ya kom ja ba ina ro wa gen. Ming nam kyong na khande kyong go re sa ro wa gen. Ta kyndi ba dige chunju cha sa nga la ma sim ro wa gen. An chorda ta ne di thong da sam ta de go ro wa sa gen. La chunju yong so nga la sim an chorda ta ro da. De ne di thong da sam de go ra khande ta di khande nyamne che ko jona cha sa ro wa gen. Kom kya na ko kom grin ba de khande di ko ro sa ro wa gen. Ko cha sa nga la sim ni chi go ra khar chi go sa ta.
Nyamne che ta ko sik na hi su lag len ta ya de ti da ko yi ji mi nga sim go ya mi se yo ma nga sim ni nga chou sam mo ta nyam do ne yak shu ko re sik ka wa se di go ro. No ne. Itu samo ya ga yung go ro. No ne. Ta sik lo me na ne gom na ya bang de de kha go ro. Ta sik lo de no en sik ko na bang de sho ro. Ji nyam de le la yo re. No so. Ta no so. So Geshe says that in order to be able to kind of meditate on the content of this text, you don't have to necessarily memorize all the lines of the stanzas. But if you do, that would be very wonderful, right? Because if we can recite it from memory and then reflect on the meaning, then everything is going to be systematic and we are not going to miss anything, isn't it? And footnote, there are many monks who do memorize this and who do reflection on this. Okay? Not all monks do that, but many monks do. But even if we don't have the words memorized, but if we have the meaning kind of structured in our mind, then we can reflect on that. So that's okay to do meditation on this text. Let me see. Okay, thank you very much all those questions. We have come to the end of this question. Announcement. Today our monks will give explanation, Geshe actually, of the Yamanta break, and then if you want to join that, so at 2 mandala explanation, at 3 mandala dissolution. Okay.
Now we will do the Manjushri prayer in Tibetan, one stanza long love prayer of Gyeltsen Rinpoche and all other dedication verses. Kange lode dimnye dim mendon donge jeseve lozo kunla boje yanla doje yangden so duda chedo nyemo nye leje jado deze je mare mense donge jinye junze rade na dene daje saje daze yenden lunzo jes Amara Bazana de Zenden Cheje Genra Vese Dalu Timo Mimba Kada Denje Shunlu Dom Lode Bobe Lawan Zendo Lode Gyazi Yutun Bega de Gesan Bumbe Chudo Tenban Zenla Wando Gijebe Tanyen Chuk Wande Changju Semjo Rinpoche Maje Bana Gijurje Kewa Nyamba Me Gongne Gongdon Bewa Jo Tongni Tawa Rinpoche Maje Bana Kewa Nyamba Meba Yang Gongne Gong Bewa Jo Sashi Beje Juje Mendo Zhang Rira Lingxi Ninde Yen Sanje Shindu Mede Viwa Yen Dogen Jeba Jo Kangri Rave Gowe Shingang De Pendang Dewa Ma Lu Zhong Jianre Si Wang Tenzin Dorjee Xiabe Side Tenjo Je Yidang Guru Rana Men Daya Men Jewa Gundo Yangda Lama Dan Deme Cheye Bela Longje Je Sada Lamje Yunde Rab Doje Change Goma Nyudo